Hello, I'm Simon Whistler. You're watching TopTenzNet, and in the video today, we're looking at the top 10 fictional people who have accomplished more than you.
Number 10. Directing films. Not every film can be a winner. For every Avengers, there will be an inevitable Fantastic Four. When directors fart out turds like these, sometimes they'll decide to pull the movie equivalent of blaming it on the dog and credit their film to Alan Smithee. Over the years, Smithee has been a director, a writer, and even an actor, despite the obvious handicap of having no face. In fact, his IMDb profile is positively brimming with movie roles, writing credits, and even a couple of award nominations. We should mention that, though sometimes used to avoid being associated with a bad film, that Smithee is also a form of protest, such as when a director or writer feels that excessive meddling has ruined their original version of a given film. But hey, writing and filmmaking aren't for every fictional person. Some of them just want to flaunt what they've got. If you don't feel bad about your looks right now, you're going to when you realize that a fictional person has managed to, number 9, be named one of the hottest people on Earth. Manti Te'o's career is essentially the exact opposite of Chris Brown's. It will likely never recover from the black eye that his fictional, totally made-up girlfriend gave it. The career of his made-up girlfriend, however, is soaring, and she probably has more magazine time and stuff written about her than Manti ever will. Her career culminated in being named one of Maxim's hottest women, number 69 in fact. A number that we absolutely don't find funny in any way, shape, or form. Man, do we feel sorry for Manti. Even the girlfriend he made up is too hot for him. But hey, at least she's doing something she loves, unlike Sherlock Holmes, who just keeps... Number 8. Annoying people with fan mail. Sherlock Holmes is a worldwide phenomenon. He's had books, songs, and even feature films starring Iron Man made about him. He's also completely fictional, though the author who originally created him made a mistake when he gave him a physical, real-world address. 221B Baker Street is the official recognized residence of Holmes. Today, this address is registered to the Sherlock Holmes Museum, but prior to that, it was a huge pain in the arse for Abbey National, a British-based bank. When one of their offices moved to a place that just so happened to be 221 Baker Street, they were immediately inundated with thousands of letters from Sherlock Holmes fans. Letters that were addressed to a man that was both fictional and lived several decades ago. So even if fans didn't know he wasn't real, they should have at least assumed he was dead already. But hey, some fictional people are still alive and kicking and are currently. Number 7. Building a bigger fan base than most celebrities. Twitter is freaking huge. It's pretty much the go-to yardstick for measuring whether or not someone is popular. The number of followers you have is directly linked to how powerful you are as a celebrity. It's why people like Justin Bieber are considered some of the most powerful people on Earth. The sheer effect that people with that many followers can have on things is staggering. When you have 20,000 people retweet the word thanks, you have a level of power most people could only imagine. So it must be a real kick in the nuts for up-and-coming celebs to realize that there are hundreds of fictional people out there with thousands of followers or more. Notable examples include the Batman, who has almost 500,000, a foul-mouthed version of the Queen of England, who has over 1 million, finally, and most awesomely, Lord Voldemort himself has over 2 freaking million followers. However, just having a lot of followers isn't impressive anymore. Fictional folk have had to prove that they've got moxie, which is why the most awesome fictional people spin their fame and... Number 6. Write a book based on their made-up life. Mrs. Stephen Fry is a Twitter account that claims to be the long-suffering wife of British intellectual legend Stephen Fry. Despite having a Twitter account with only a fraction of the followers that the Batman has, Mrs. Fry has parlayed her fame into 2 books, one of which is literally just a catalogue of tweets. Yes, Mrs. Stephen Fry has more books than the Batman. Soak it in. Of course, there are other people who have created an online identity separate from their own, but Mrs. Stephen Fry is on another level. She blogs, tweets, maintains a diary, and interviews remain absolutely steadfast, never once breaking character. We can't be the only ones who are a little creeped out by the thought of a person walking around constantly pretending to be the wife of a gay man, constantly adding layers upon layers to their elaborate web of lies. But we don't have time to discuss that, not when we should be talking about the fake guy who, number 5, became one of the most famous photographers on Earth. Robert Kincaid is the character portrayed by Clint Eastwood in The Bridges of Madison County. In the film, Kincaid is a photographer for National Geographic magazine, and although he spends most of his time getting intimate with Meryl Streep's lady parts, he does supposedly take some boss photos of a bridge, as the film's title would imply. Filmgoers were so intrigued by this enigmatic, stone-faced photographer that many of them contacted National Geographic directly with inquiries about viewing Kincaid's work, only to be told by weary receptionists that said work didn't exist because Kincaid was just a made-up character in a film, which, oddly enough, didn't deter anyone, as even when told point-blank that Kincaid didn't exist, people still asked to see his other work. We don't have a joke here. The previous sentence is so densely stupid, any joke we write would just be caught in its gravity. Taking photos is all well and good, but we feel like this video needs someone who, number 4, became a war hero. George P. Burdell was the result of a bored student accidentally getting 2 college enrollment forms for Georgia Tech. Rather than send it back or throw it away, the student filled it out with the name of George P. Burdell and did twice as much work for their entire time at college because that's a totally normal thing to do. This student eventually earned George a master's degree. To this day, students still hand in work on George's behalf, but earning a metric ton of degrees wasn't enough for George, which is probably why he decided to help out during World War II. And by help out, we mean be freaking everywhere. He was part of the flight crew on a B-17, served in Africa, and even attended Harvard as part of a naval unit. We're surprised history hasn't been amended to state that George personally slapped Hitler to death. Later in life, George earned even more degrees and was even considered as Times Person of the Year. What have you done with your life lately? But don't feel bad, you'll always be a better person than the made-up person who. Number 3, duped the national media. Cody Kennings was supposed to be the 8-year-old daughter of an American soldier serving in Iraq. Unless you've suffered a massive head wound while watching this video, you probably can guess that Cody didn't exist. She was, in fact, the creation of one Jamie Reynolds, who fabricated Kennings and her story to dupe, of all things, a student newspaper. However, the story very quickly gained traction, eventually receiving worldwide attention. Reynolds, seemingly in an attempt to earn a place with air conditioning in hell, even went as far as getting a young girl to play Kennings for public appearances, under the guise that she was playing Kennings in a movie. Then, just to stick the knife in, Reynolds said that Cody's father had been killed and that there would be a memorial service, which is when her hoax fell apart. The resulting investigation by the newspaper involved actually won them an award, so not only did this fictional little girl fool mainstream media, she also helped people win an award. Wow, lying is awesome, especially when it's used for. Number 2, making hundreds of people paranoid and inspiring a drink. You've no doubt heard of a Tom Collins. It's a drink old people order on TV. However, have you ever wondered who Tom Collins actually is? The short answer is he doesn't exist. The awesome answer is he was part of a huge elaborate joke. The story goes that back in 1874, a fairly substantial amount of people all collectively decided that they wanted to mess with random people on the street. To do this, they would casually approach a member of the public and mention that a mysterious stranger, identified only as Tom Collins, was talking all sorts of smack about them just around the corner. The hope was that this person would go try to seek this man out and punch him in the face. The hoax was so successful that Tom was mentioned in several news reports of the time, which hilariously decided to perpetuate the hoax by mentioning that this foul-mouthed stranger had been seen in various parts of America. 2 years later, the Tom Collins cocktail was born, making him twice as notable as everyone watching this. Who knew being an ass to strangers could make you famous? Maybe those internet trolls are onto something. Then again, Tom never, number 1, became a pop superstar. The one common theme with all the people mentioned in this video is that none of them have faces, which is kind of expected when they don't exist. Faces tend to be exclusively owned by people who can dunk a basketball or pet a dog, or so we thought. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Japanese superstar Amy Uguchi. Whereas most fictional characters are only described, drawn, or played by actors in films, Amy was introduced to the world in a video declaring that she was the newest member of AKB48, who are described as an idol girl group by Wikipedia and as girls dressed like schoolgirls by us right now. Almost immediately after this announcement, fans went crazy trying to discern who the hell Amy was, only to be disappointed when it was revealed that she was little more than a composite of 6 other members of the group. Though you've likely never heard of AKB48, they're recognized as being one of the highest earning groups in music, making Amy a double world record holder, as the band also holds the unique distinction of being the largest music group on Earth, with around 90 members. So the next time you feel sad, just remember that a fictional Japanese schoolgirl instantly gained legions of fans, joined an award-winning music group, and appeared in an adult magazine, because Japan, without ever working or contributing to the world in any way. If a fictional person can do something that awesome with no effort, imagine what you could do.
So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. There's a button on the screen as well as below me now. Also over there on the right, a couple of other videos you might enjoy if you enjoyed this one. And thank you for watching.